Hey everyone, today we are looking at the limited edition of Disgaea Mayhem. This is the PS5 version, so take a close look at that disc and commit it to memory. I got an email saying that they wanted to send me the limited edition of Disgaea Mayhem, and I said yes, obviously, and I appreciate them very much for sending that over to me. Other versions of the LE include Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, with the Switch 2 being a game keycard version, so you know the drill there. They didn't have any expectations or requests on what type of video I should do, just so you know. This is gonna be the unboxing obviously, and there'll probably be a review coming up in the future. Disgaea Mayhem is a hack and slash spin-off of the usual tactical RPG mainline Disgaea games. As of this unboxing I haven't played it yet, so we'll see. Everything is housed in a box. It's the size of a normal game case, it's just thicker. It's wrapped up with a sticker on it that says for home device. I've had Switch LEs from Nisa in the past and they say for hybrid device, but I can't remember what the Switch 2 Disgaea 7 LE says again. I was given that one and I never filmed me taking the plastic wrap off, so yeah, I don't know what it says. I'm assuming it's something else so workers can differentiate all the different versions. The box art is pretty nice, it's colorful and unique. Takehito Harada has a very recognizable art style, and the very thin, or in this case non-existent line work, makes it look like a painting kind of. The art features the main protagonists, and I like how the viewpoint is low, so that makes the horde of monsters surrounding them seem like they're huge and numerous. There's some excitement and action going on. The back is more like a character portrait sort of thing, and the sides have a black and I guess red, but almost magenta looking theme. And you'll see that on other LE items too. The material is thick cardstock. I think it's cardstock anyways, that's maybe the term. It doesn't bend easily, and it's way thicker than most other limited editions you'll find. Let's take a look inside. By the way, there's no barcodes on the box because it's an exclusive online store thing. So yeah, if you go to the Nisa online store, you'll find it. Inside there's a deluxe edition game, hardcover art book, CD soundtrack, acrylic stand, and an acrylic keychain. It may take a bit of massaging to get out, it seems to be a tight fit. The box has a design that extends to the inside, which I always appreciate a lot. It makes it look way more high quality. The game first, it's a PS5 game disc. It says Deluxe Edition on the front. Same cover image as the box. A different image for the box and case would have been appreciated. Inside we have a mini art book. Just a few works you'd see in the art book itself. Honestly, I would have preferred an actual manual with basic controls, then at least it would be somewhat interesting. Here it's just a few things you'd find in the art book anyways. I know if you just bought the deluxe edition, then it's fine I guess, but in the context of this being in the LE, it just seems sort of useless. There's a tiny soundtrack you can download. The code can be used 3 times, and you can download either a lossless FLAC version or a 320 kilobit per second MP3 version. Obviously just download the FLAC version or just both, so you have both, so you don't need to encode a lower quality version. But anyways, more on that later. I will say also, kind of like the mini art book, it's kind of useless considering that the CD soundtrack comes with all those songs. The disc itself uses an image that looks like it's derived from the game's 3D models. You can see it on the faces, and it's a bit weird. The design looks nice. I like that there's a background for the disc case itself. The art book is hardcover and it has a matte finish. That's pretty standard for these kind of things. Again, I like the reddish design there. The diagonal designs make it look a little bit actiony. The quality of the print seems okay, but the inside covers you get, yeah, if you look, there's some weirdness going on. I mean, it is common because that's just how the cover wraps around, I guess. But usually they don't have a design printed on them, and it's just white or whatever. Or the inlay a piece of paper over that so you just don't see that. But anyways, it's very noticeable. Apparently there's spoilers in here, so I'll just try not to show any of those. There's a bit of a screen effect on the print that I didn't notice IRL, but it's easy to see close on camera. It is visible in real life if you look closely, but not if you're about like half a meter away or something. The content is pretty standard for an art book. Illustrations of the characters, illustrations from the game, a few sketches. There you go. The soundtrack is up next. It's a non-standard case. It won't fit on, like, you know, in a CD rack or anything. I don't know what to think about this form factor. I like uniqueness, but I also dislike if things are needlessly impractical. It does look good, I guess. It's made in the Czech Republic, so shout out to Skoda, which is VW anyway, but whatever. The design is nice. The characters pop out very well. The back seems to have suffered some sort of injury from something rubbing up against it. I think it's the keychain. Not terribly tragic, but that's not great either. Decent design work inside, though I don't know if a vertical format is the best choice. You know, CD cases are arranged like books, but this case is oriented like a calendar. The tracklist is inside, and again, it's weird to read it like that. The CD looks nice, except I think they could have maybe toned down the opacity on the background pattern a bit. The character art is reused. It's the same 3D based one we've seen before, just with half of the characters missing. There's some yummy cakes and desserts as the background, but it's slightly marred by the globs of glue. I'll get to the sound quality in a second. Let's just see the rest of the stuff that's in here. Next up is the acrylic stand, and here it is again. I don't like this 3D based illustration that much. It's clear that it's not been hand drawn. I think that makes it a bit wonky and unfortunate looking. And by the way, if it is not 3D based, then I don't know. I just don't think that was a good decision to use this illustration because, I don't know, the face is weird. The keychain is nicer, the art is unique, and so is the design. They both seem of high quality. They should have just used an actual illustration for the stand. Now, onto the sound quality. As you can imagine, the soundtrack is brick-walled. Obviously, there's so much brick-walled music out there, it's not unique, you know, to have that sort of thing happen. But in this case, it almost looks like they just ran it into a limiter and called it done. Quiet parts are just really loud, like they're almost peaking. And once more instrumentation comes in, it gets just really dense and yeah, like it's just rammed into the limiter and it sounds lifeless and undefined. Everything lacks impact and punch. There's no separation. If they wanted to brickwall it, like, you know, pretty much all modern music, they could have at least employed techniques to retain clarity and definition, you know, parallel compression, serial compression. There's ways to get the overall volume of everything up and make it punchy and then, you know, run it into a limiter so you don't, you know, make it sound like total crap. But it seems like they didn't do that. And if they did, it doesn't sound like they did a good job as far as I'm concerned. And if this was intentional, which it may be because Disgaea music just seems to always sound like this, I'm questioning the decision to make it sound like that. There's no difference from what I can tell there in terms of the mastering between the CD soundtrack, the lossless download version, or the MP3 download version. I did notice that the track No More Cry, which is the first song on both the CD and the, you know, less comprehensive download soundtrack, I did notice that they had like a different song length because one version just had more silence before the song starts. That really does not matter at all. Nobody cares. Doesn't matter. I just noticed it. The music itself is classic Disgaea, which I very much like. It's fun, quirky, dark-ish. It's like Halloween type spooky. So yeah, it has overall a playfulness to it that fits the game and the series overall. So that's the limited edition of Disgaea Mayhem. Overall, down the middle in terms of how impressive it is. It has many standard items you'd see in similar games. It's way better than the Disgaea 7 Complete LE, which was awful. I bring that up because that was the last LE from Disgaea that I had, so yeah. I guess that's just my last experience from that series in terms of limited editions. The highlights are definitely the very well done box with the thick, high quality material, and the design that they printed on the inside. The art is really nice and well done. The color scheme is excellent. There's a few unfortunate little things there, like the weird soundtrack form factor, the mastering of the soundtrack, and the reuse of the imagery, specifically that 3D one with the wonky face, which, yeah, and that being reused on the acrylic stand basically ensures that I'll never use that or put it up anywhere for display. So yeah, that's the LE. Let me know what you think. Hopefully I'll get a review done soon-ish, and until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.